Thank you all for coming. My name is Amy Schwabenlender, Executive Director at the Human Services Campus. Before we really begin, I'd like to acknowledge that the Human Services Campus and this facility sit on the ancestral homelands of those American Indian tribes that have inhabited this land for centuries, including the Acoma Odom, Pima, and Peepash Maricopa peoples. We also acknowledge and pay respect to our Indigenous elders, past, present, and future, who have stewarded the land throughout the generations. We are so grateful to share this space. I am going to recognize and thank a lot of people along the way. I will most likely forget someone. It's not intentional. I'm apologizing in advance. We have Councilman Carlos Garcia and Councilwoman Yasmin Ansari with us. Did I miss any other council? No? Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting our work. This has been a long journey. When COVID struck, was announced as a pandemic 2 years ago, a lot of us had conversations about, hey, there's these sprung structures on the West Coast. What if we did one of those and we could shelter more people through the pandemic, however long that's going to last? And conversations evolve and morph and other things happen. And so about a year ago, thanks to City of Phoenix, the Phoenix City Council approved CARES Act money so that we could construct this space that you see today. So our endless gratitude for the City of Phoenix for entrusting us with this investment. Last summer, we launched a multidisciplinary street outreach team, and as that crew has been counting and surveying weekly, last August, there were maybe 200, 300 unsheltered people in the neighborhood between 7th Avenue, 15th Avenue, the railroad tracks, and Jefferson. And we thought, wow, if we could open this structure for 100 people, we could reduce unsheltered homelessness by maybe 50%. Well, the sad news is the street count yesterday was just over 1,000 people. So while we're here to celebrate and recognize this milestone, it's a huge accomplishment, and I believe it's important to celebrate success, even if it feels small. Once we can start sheltering people, hopefully in the next 2 days, it'll be 10% of this unsheltered population. So while we celebrate, acknowledge, our work is not done. We hope we can learn from this model and figure out ways to apply this type of facility and setting in other locations around the valley. With that, if Councilwoman Ansari would like to come up and say a few words. Thank you so much for your support and your dedication to short and long-term solutions. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much to Amy and to everyone here today for being here. As Amy said, it's exciting to celebrate the beginning of hopefully a series of efforts that the City of Phoenix will be launching in partnership with Maricopa County and so many other partners to be able to support our unsheltered community. As Amy mentioned, it has become a massive crisis. We have over 1,000 people unsheltered right here outside the Human Services Campus, and that, of course, that's not even counting all of the people across the city and across the valley. It is unfortunate that this took 8 months to get here, but still very, very glad that we are here and that we will be able to open this right in time for summer. It's already getting hot in the city of Phoenix and in Arizona, and this is just such an important investment. I do also want to touch on some of the other things that I think will be helpful as we move forward. The City of Phoenix, and I'd like to recognize Councilman Garcia as well, we recognize the massive issues that we have when it comes to affordable housing, when it comes to mental health. We're making investments to be able to support people in all phases of the journey that gets them to this point. We just voted on Wednesday on a $9 million item to support Mercy Care with mental health. And just this past fiscal year, we've spent about $50 million on housing and shelter services and homelessness issues overall. And I do want to give a huge, huge shout out to Gina and Scott and our entire team at the City of Phoenix who works on this day in and day out. I know this is very tireless and very thankless work, so thank you so much for that. And I know I don't need to tell this room of individuals to stay engaged on this issue, but at the city, we could use all the support we can get to make sure that we continue to make these investments. We're just about to discuss how we will spend our American Rescue Plan dollars this second year. And I'm happy to say that as of now, we have a $20 million allocation in there to purchase smaller, more specialized facilities for shelter. We're already moving forward on a facility on Washington Street, hoping to fast track that, which will be in District 8 before the summertime. But also there's so many other opportunities, properties where we can partner with providers, CBI, St. Vincent de Paul, so many others to move that forward. We will also be investing $50 million in affordable housing as well. But we know this isn't enough. We know we need all the help we can get. I just want to emphasize that I am personally 150% committed to this issue. It is, of all the issues that I'm passionate about and care deeply about, this is the one that takes up most of our headspace and I think deserves most of our attention, because people really are in crisis, people need our help, and we need to be doing everything we can this year to set ambitious deadlines for ourselves to get people off the streets into permanent solutions, into housing, and with services. So thank you again to everyone, Amy, Richard, all of the folks here for everything that you're doing. I look forward to continuing to work with you on this issue, and thank you so much.
As I turn the mic over to Richard Cruz, the Human Services Campus Program Director, we want to unveil the name. We've all been calling it the Sprung, and people were trying to correct us, saying, oh, that must be a typo, it's a spring structure. No, it's really a sprung structure. And we don't want to forever call it the sprung structure. It really doesn't tell the people we want to serve anything about what might happen to them in this space. And credit to Richard for coming up with this name. Can we carefully unbit? We'll probably knock it off the easel at the same time. And so Richard is going to talk more about the program and why this name, it's all falling off. Respiro is what we will name this facility, and the programming that happens here, it means respite. Thank you, Mo. We want people to be able to come into this space and feel like they can rest, like they can breathe, that this is a calming environment. It's not the chaos of living in a tent on the street. So please join me in forever now calling this Respiro. And Richard.
Thank you very much. So, credit to the program's leadership team for, we got together to really talk about who would be in Respiro. And in that conversation, they were talking about, how do we create the criteria? And they're like, well, by creating a criteria, are we decreasing access? And I said, no. Let's not think of it in a way that decreases access or is overly specific, but let's think of it in a way that we know who we're looking for, right? Who are those that need the opportunity? Everybody that's of those 1,000 that are outside of this campus, the close to 600 to 700 that are sheltering every night on this campus, they need the opportunity to breathe. But who are those that typically get left out, right? Who are the individuals that we can find that are working with the navigators currently, but unsheltered around the streets that they're close to being able to be housed, right? But we need to make sure that they're in a stable place so that they know that they can come in every single night, they've got their bed, they don't have to choose whether I'm gonna get a meal tonight or I'm gonna have a place to sleep. Because that's a real, situation that happens every day where people have to pick. They're like, am I going to get a meal at Andre House, or am I going to get a bed tonight because I know that I'm competing with 1,000 other people who are unsheltered, right? So I think about in that what they decided to do. They found that group, but then in addition to that, it was whether it was those that were justice involved, right, whether it was those who were victims of domestic violence, whether it was those who have been on the street forever and they can't get into shelter anymore, whether, like, how we can identify these highly vulnerable populations, whether it was those who were currently in shelter in overflow, but they're sleeping in their wheelchairs, right? Because they can't get down on the floor. But here, at least we can get you on that bottom bunk, right? How do we identify those? So then I thought of a very specific story, but I'm going to hold names because I want to respect people's privacy. But about a year ago, well, now a year and a half ago, in January, it was MLK Day, and this voice had yelled out to me, like, "Mr. Richard!" And I was like, "Wait, what's that?" Right? And I took a look, and I see this person who used to be in my after-school program when I worked in youth development in South Phoenix, right? And I'm thinking, like, oh, she's here to volunteer, right? This is what I'm thinking naturally. And I'm like, hey, like, what you doing here? And she's like, I'm here, I'm sheltering here. I was like, whoa, right? It like hit me a certain way. And so, needless to say, like, she can be difficult at times, right? She got some various, she's abrasive at times, that's how I'll put it. And so eventually she was no longer in shelter and found that she was staying on the streets, right? She was staying just on the corner across from where, like, in that Andre House area, right? And then found out that her mother was also now homeless as well, right? So we've got daughter and mother both homeless in a tent every night, and they're not leaving each other, so they're not going in overflow and they're not going into shelter, right? Because one might be able to get in, but they both can't get in. And so when we were having this conversation, we're like, okay, well, who's this individual? And this particular family, because they're working with their navigators every single week, figuring out what they need to do to, like, what are the barriers that we need to remove to get housed. Now we've got this space where one of my navigators is like, oh, let's put her in there, right? So when we think of her and her mother, this is a space where they finally get to breathe, right? And some folks get to breathe in a way that they just haven't been able to. So that we're able to open early. So we'll be open when we open, we'll be opening at 4 o'clock so people can come in, get their beds, they're good, right? We're going to close later so that when folks are, they don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. in the morning, but we'll do our exit around 7:30 so folks can be here until it's time to go to breakfast, right? But they get the opportunity to breathe. And so I thank each and every one of you that have sewn into what this space is, into Respiro, so that our clients, our community now has a better opportunity to breathe. And I thank you to the council people that are both here because of what they're doing to create additional options to help solve this issue. Because like Amy said, when we first started this journey to build this room structure, we were at like 250. And we were like, oh, okay. Right, and then in December 28th, we were at 555. I gotta put this in context. So we were at 555, December 28th. It's now March, I lose track of the days, March 25th. And as of yesterday, we were at like 1,017, Andrew? Yeah. 1,017. That's over 75% increase in 3 months. So if we don't do anything, an entire community will be suffocated and they won't get to breathe. So I thank you for joining us in this journey, in this fight to end homelessness, so that our community, our staff, and all of you can provide a space where people can breathe and find respite. Thank you.
Andrew, I have to turn maybe up. No? Oh. I can't boom like Richard Cruz. I want to take a second to recognize several members of the Human Services Campus Board of Directors are here. Not everyone's sitting. If you're on the HOC board, if you can wave or jump or do something. Commander Freudenthal, Arlen Wessling, Terry Ehrman, maybe others I didn't see. Thank you for providing the strategic leadership to the Human Services Campus, for your support. It's wonderful to have the partnership with the Phoenix Police. We need them just about every single day. So all of our board members contribute and help to make us successful. I also need to thank the Garcia Family Foundation. They were not able to be here today. They provided the first year of funding for the full operation, so staffing, supplies, utilities, whatever costs it will take for us to operate Respiro for 1 year. So our deep gratitude to the Garcia Family Foundation. We have David Renard somewhere in the RPM and Sprung Structure team. He's in the back. You can't miss him with the beard. Where's the rest of your team, David?
Here,
Wave, thank you.
Manufacturer, Chris is on the HVAC team under Woodard Construction Alice with Woodard Construction General Contractor. Our team over there, Will Waters and Derek Metzen, the architects here, and then Simon Thomas from Structures.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you for making this happen. And Alice is representing Woodard Construction, and thank you for providing the refreshments this morning. They're a locally owned general contractor. We're so glad that we got connected to them when they bid on the project so that we could bring them into this fold of creating solutions to end homelessness. I also want to, the camera light got turned off, so I can't read my own notes. Aging is a real thing, people. The amount of light is the most critical thing. I feel like I caught up. I also want to thank St. Vincent de Paul. There's several staff here. So, some of the weedy details are St. Vincent de Paul owns the parcel we're on and the urban farm. And the special permit area we have with the City of Phoenix for sheltering includes this parcel. It does not include the vacant parcel to the east of us that is owned by Human Services Campus. And when we came up with this idea, it was great to reach out to St. Vincent and say, hey, can we trade some land usage so that we can put a sprung structure here, now called Respiro, and you can have some land over there for your urban farm. So that level of partnership and collaboration is what it takes to make some of these potentially wacky ideas come to fruition. So for all the St. Vincent de Paul people in the room, thank you for your partnership and what you do every day. If someone passes me a note, like I forgot to thank someone, I think the last group I want to make sure that I thank are all of the staff that work at the Human Services Campus, not just for HSC Inc., for any partner organization. Anyone who's here, you're here because you're interested, you believe in ending homelessness, you believe there's solutions, you know that the people on the front lines, they have a difficult job every moment of every single day. And there are moments like this where we get to celebrate an accomplishment. And today we will help some people move into housing. Unfortunately, there will also be people who lose their housing. And this inflow into homelessness, we can't keep up with an outflow into permanent housing today in Maricopa County. And so we have these shelter spaces. Building out shelter is not the answer to ending homelessness. Preventing people from falling into homelessness is really the first part of a solution. If we can stop this inflow so that we don't have to create more and more shelters, and having enough housing on the back end, so if someone has an experience of homelessness, it's short and it's not recurring. So the people who show up in these spaces to do this work every day have one of the most difficult jobs. And I'm emotional for a lot of reasons. One is this is a dream come true, and everyone here played a part in making it happen. I'm also emotional because yesterday there was an incident on the campus and a client lost their life. And that's what everyone who works here does every single day. And they pick themselves back up and they came to work again this morning. Because we now have 1,600, 1,700 people relying on us to help them. So, if you work here at this Human Services Campus, The Place, whether you're CAS, HSC, St. Vincent de Paul, Community Bridges, Catholic Charities, Veteran Outreach Center, trying to think who else I saw, Community Bridges, did I say you already? Please give a tremendously deep round of applause for those. That was the Debbie Downer moment. Because we pick up and we keep going. It's a roller coaster every day in the work to address homelessness. Please feel free to stick around even though we don't have full power. APS is expediting in the most fantastic possible way, working on power today and tomorrow. And I believe, I don't know where Alan went, we have one more inspection or two more inspections, Alan. And then when we're ready to go, we have staff and we'll start sleeping. Alan doesn't want to be pointed out. He's like, don't let people know who I am, Amy. If you're working on a project and you need the Deputy Director for Planning, you want to meet Alan Stevenson, who's hiding. I won't point him out now. And really, the City of Phoenix has gone out of their way. Every staff member in every department who was called upon to help with reviewing a permit, approving a permit, attempting to plug in the generator today. The City of Phoenix staff has been incredible, a true partner in this work, and so we also should all acknowledge their efforts to make today a reality. Thank you. Please feel free to spend a little time. It's 6,300 square feet of space. It doesn't take a long time to do a lap. The beds are not in their final arrangement. If you want to walk around, take a look. We have toilets in a shower, but they're in the dark. So if you want to peek in though, feel free. Use the flash on your phone camera to check it out. And again, thanks to Woodard Construction, we have some refreshments at the back of the room. But thank you all so much for being part of this and supporting our efforts.